G'day, I'm Ash, welcome yourselves back to War Thunder, and today we're going to be talking about the update Fire and Ice, also known as Copy and Paste. I think that's what the community has called this one, for the new finished branches for the Swedish tree, both aircraft and ground vehicles, including the Leopard TIE 6, more than 50 new and updated vehicles, of which, you know, you can probably count about 5 to maybe 4 of them being unique. The long-awaited M1A2 SAP, the TUS modification, the SPAA Tor M1, the Fuso battleship, and 2 new locations, as well as different other changes as well. Again, the finished subtree really was a disappointment. I think that Fire and Ice, while it was a good update overall, the addition of the S238, that's premium Soviet IFV, which hasn't even entered service yet with the Russian military, has potentially ruined War Thunder's credibility when it comes to updates. It's quite disappointing because a lot of the vehicles weren't ready for the first development server, and if you wanted to generate hype about an update, you would have put vehicles on the dev server so content creators can actually cover the update in its entirety. I don't see why they're also not, you know, putting out newer content and then not actually showing us what is actually possible with the game, because that'd be, you know, potent to them actually delivering content on time, and we can't have that considering they surprised us with the 9.7 2S38, which honestly is possibly the most overpowered vehicle I've driven since probably the KA-50's introduction. And regardless of how you feel about it, my update dev server video that I did last week or the week before, I can't remember now, essentially my thoughts remain the same. There isn't exactly an interesting amount of content to go around for us content creators to cover, outside of the fact that this machine here is broken. There's a new couple of other smaller vehicles, but the reality is no one's really going to cover those in depth because they are vehicles that already exist in-game, and that's kind of a problem. Hey, I'm not going to be one to judge. They have done okay for this update. Majority of the focus, I believe, has been put into the 10th anniversary, and even that's shaping up to be a confusing mess, as Twitch drops were only announced literally 10 minutes before the Twitch drops went live, and we don't even know anything about the fantabulous, there's not even a word, the Sturmtiger that is coming out in the coming couple of days. Now, we do know that the Halloween event is under full swing, so if you want to get yourself a Poe 2, that runs every single year. That's fantastic. There is a couple of decals to go along with that, and that is also fantastic. What really is intriguing is how they're going to run the 10th anniversary this time around. We're getting close up. It's almost November. That is usually update time for when they introduce, you know, sales or discounts on packs. I know there are some discounts available on certain things coming up soon. So again, it's a matter of how now Brown Cow, essentially, and how Gaijin Entertainment plays the rest of this year. Because obviously we still have another major update later in December, so whether or not they're holding out for the last major update of the 10-year anniversary, or they're just going to add more what-if content to fill the end of the year, is yet to be seen. Now, it's been a week since the introduction of the update, and so far there hasn't been a terrible amount of bug patches, although they have done a couple of small updates addressing a couple of issues with the smaller things, like a couple of handfuls of bugs. But outside of that, the general opinion seems to be that the update is rather lackluster. A lot of the people that I've talked to who, you know, are starting to move away from War Thunder specifically because some of these updates are just not as exciting as, say, a brand new original tech tree. Even the addition of Israel was a bit of an interesting one, considering that it's been proven by the community that Israel technically could go to rank 1, but ultimately Gaijin hasn't decided to listen to any of that. I don't know. It is particularly interesting because at the same time, while it is extra content, Gaijin's put in a bit of a tight place, because reality is, without content, the game sort of flusters a bit and it will probably end up by failing, which again isn't exactly the most ideal scenario, considering they want to generate as much, I hate to say it, money and player base as possible. The big thing to take away is that you can't really call everything copy-paste, because ultimately the things that do get added from now on tend to be focused more on high tier than they do low tier, when countries actually diverge and purchase modifications of other existing equipment, right? So, you know, even if we do get a Commonwealth tech tree, or Yugoslavian tech tree, or Hungarian, or you know, Romanian, for example, or even a Benelux tech tree. Those ideas are fantastic, but the ultimate reality is, you know, they haven't really bothered to make unique variants of domestically built stuff in, you know, other tech trees, so why should they really focus anything else but, you know, having another Squadron T-80, for example? Might not be the best idea. I mean, there's not much you can do. The game needs content, the player base is higher than ever, people are playing this game more than often. The communities are actually quite strong, and the community itself is growing quite rapidly, which is fantastic to see, new players on board. But there needs to be something done about the economy's progression and just the way that they balance things. I feel like there's certain battle ratings which you just have to avoid due to the fact that it's over-clustered with either premium vehicles or, in my case, you know, there's not really much to cover out as an aviation enthusiast. I mean, sure, there is an aviation line in Finland, but all of the vehicles we've already got in game, excluding... I don't even think there's anything unique about any of the vehicles that have been added outside of maybe the BT-42. So, again, it's a matter of perspective and opinion. Now, I can't fault Gaijin Entertainment for what they've done. They obviously are incredibly proud, and the devs have done a fantastic job, you know, making, you know, a new update. The fact that this game gets so many updates every year, at least 5 major updates a year, really is something to behold, considering there was a lot of development time, there was a lot of hype around that. There's also a lot of people, you know, speculating, and we've got dev blogs and dev servers and hype streams and things. There's quite a lot of marketing that goes involved in this kind of shit. And it is a bit of a media circus, but that's okay. You know, that's what we're here for. It's just surprising when they have a dev server initially and there isn't really much outside of, you know, the copy and paste. So everyone decides to call this update lackluster, which it was, and then you get backlash from the wider community. I certainly hope there is more content available that is slightly more interesting. We have a Sturm Tiger event coming up. We have the 10th anniversary updates. I don't know when that is going to be, probably in the next coming week. So again, probably the devs are incredibly busy bug fixing and doing all sorts of things while they prepare for the anniversary of the game. Now, this game being around for 10 years is a big deal. I can't believe that I've been playing this game for almost 10 years. I come up on 10 years next year, early March/February. It's going to be an interesting time. And I believe that most people don't really realise the impact that this game has had on us as players. So, in the coming weeks, we're going to be doing a 10-year anniversary sort of breakdown of what happened each year going into War Thunder's development history, where War Thunder came from, what the controversies were, and everything else going on. So stick around for that one. That'll be coming in the next coming weeks as we prepare for, well, War Thunder's major anniversary. Anyhow, what do you guys think of the update? Are you enjoying it? Are you particularly enjoying grinding out the same vehicles that have been in the game for a while? Are you happy with some of the changes? And have you encountered the 2S38 yet? And you think that it's a potential problem? Anyhow, that being said, I don't know what else to really say here. I think I've said it all. Considering that the devs certainly don't feel like they are paying attention to the way the game feels, I don't think another 9.7 premium really justifies Gaijin's existence. It's just another way of having a vehicle which probably shouldn't be in the game just yet to really, I guess, annoy other players. And that's the thing. You've always got to have a major top seller every single major update. They always go over this kind of thing. They always tend to surprise us with vehicles like this, so I'm not surprised that there is a vehicle like this, because ultimately it develops a meta. Remember when the Puma was first added, and then we had the Bradleys? It was trickle-down economics in a way, and trickle-down content, which, again, wasn't the most ideal situation. It was like when the F4 Phantom was introduced. I think it was introduced a little too early, but then again, you know, times are different, times have changed. It would have been nice to see other aircraft and other vehicles introduced, but you can't change the past. The ultimate thing is what people have been asking for years is if another country has something, add it in the same update. You can't keep going and adding singular vehicles like the previous 4 updates have, starting with the F-14. You know, that was the major focus of an update, one single fucking aircraft, and then this update, the past update, the SU-25 for example, and now you've got this update with the 2 S-38 thing. I mean, I don't know. It just feels a little too narrow-minded for them to really say that, Oh yes, new features. By the way, we have flamethrower gimmicks, which, you know, won't necessarily, I guess, do anything. But that just shows you the type of content that has come out. I'm not opposed to the Battle Pass stuff. I think the Battle Pass stuff is more interesting than Major Update. But the Major Update should have been at least more interesting than the Battle Pass. That's the whole point of a Major Update. I certainly hope they don't take a World of Tanks approach and slowly but slowly only have small amounts of content being added. As someone who's watched World of Tanks community over the years, well, look, they basically just add tier 8 premiums all the time. So I'm thankful in some regard that we don't exactly have that kind of thing happening here. But with the surprise editions of this particular vehicle that you're seeing on screen, I have no words, really. And obviously it's easy to import a model that you've already got existing and just change the camouflage. Obviously that's easy to do for more domestic stuff while they wait for more models to be made. That's fantastic. But it's one of those rare occasions where the update on its own is barely a footnote of what could have actually been released. And, you know, just lineups in general just feel a little bit basic rather than exciting or actually worthwhile of providing, you know, decent usable content, you know, from a content creator point of view. And that is about it for today. You know, I do love the fact that this community is so vigilant and the memes that come out of the community is quite interesting. It'd be fun to see BT42. We'll probably got a video on that soon. That's going to be fun. There is other content in the works, and we have a heap amount of stuff going on, so there's that. So stick around. Thank you very much for everyone who has, you know, used my decal link. It's been fantastic. Please continue to do so. I like to live, and I like to continue to live, so that's vitally important to me. Socials in the description below as well, and we'll see you in the next one. Hey, my name is Ash. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.